Oh, with the lag even in this internet connection. Excellent connection, but still a lag. Hmm. Well, let's see how this goes. I'll just ramble for a little bit about identity. Because I don't know if you noticed, but I'm kind of developing a main theme in my videos that I'm kind of going with because I believe these to be the most important things, right? One of which, of course, is hologram, the holographic nature of reality, and how stories mold light into creating reality. So, of course, stories has a big influence in what light is and these types of things. But also tied into story is identity, right? Because our identity, our personality, our sense of self is just a habituated story that we continue to tell ourselves inside of ourselves, right? We carry our history through our story, and this all constructs our identity. So one of the things that we need to do as just to benefit the individual is to come to see this story and understand that it is the story that holds them back. Right? I'm not good enough. I'm shy. I'm not strong. I'm this and that. Right? These things that we tell ourselves that we are become us. Right? As you think, so shall it be. And the reality being is that, of course, we can change these things, right? We can change how we think. You can do it inside of yourself. Thinking bad thoughts, thinking bad thoughts. Wait, no, erase. I'm going to think something more positive. Okay, I don't know what that means. And so the basic idea is that our identity is the greatest addiction that we have as a species, right? We become identified with our sense of selves. We have science that becomes identified and addicted to its own understanding and thus not open to alternative perspectives. And this is a very complex thing, right? Because science also tells and weaves a story within consciousness. They are another form of authority that we trust and give faith into, that they're not going to lie to us. They're going to tell us what's real. Of course, monetary incentives, power, control, all these different things that are very attractive to the human being, um, have their effect and, become manipulated, corrupted, influenced. Science, of course, it's very easy to tell any kind of story you want, specifically when it's things that other people cannot replicate. Right? If you can't, if it's like costs $150 million to do a specific test, there's not going to be many groups of people out there that are going to replicate that test to actually check your findings, right? So we just have to have it in good faith. And I know I'm speaking really generalized here, but hopefully you get the point. And then, of course, medicine. Same thing. Medicine is just another form of science. I actually have an interesting article about this that I've written before. Perhaps I should, but it basically had to do with putting yourself in the business mindset, right? If you're a doctor, right, and you're a healer, I guess back in the old days before these types of things, before modern medicine. If you're a healer running around and you want to use your healing practice as a business, right, and you want to generate profit, what's the first thing you could do? What's something you could do? Well, the first thing is to not cure your patients, right? To cure a patient is to lose a customer. So you want to put a band-aid on it, right? You want to fix them for now so that they come back later and need that fix again, right? Or repeating customers. And then you go along for a time, and then, that works for so long, but how do I increase profits even more? Well, I can create a better band-aid. I was thinking about the next step, but the final step is something else. I can create a better band-aid. I mean, because if people are savvy to the types of band-aids I use, right, plants and herbs back in the day, right, still basically where our medicine comes from is still plants, but that's what I'm getting at. And so it's like, if people can just grow these things in their backyards or just find it and find these medicines, my band-aids in the wilderness, then what can I do, right? How do I do this only for myself? you can't patent nature. Those silly laws stop anybody from patenting nature itself. But what you can do is you can isolate specific compounds within that nature, those plants, and then sell that compound as a medicine. Thus, and then you can patent that, and now you own the rights to that thing. And then over time, people forget what the original medicine was. And, well, now you have a monopoly over healing. And then now, as you continue, you ask yourself, well, how do I increase profits again? Right, you create more disease. And how would you create disease? Well, diet, health. Well, we start working in cahoots with the food and medicine, and then start creating more customers for ourselves, because the more customers, the more profit. And I guess this isn't the platform to get too much into this, but I think you get the point of where I'm going with this. Let's see. Somebody popped in and left. Last time was more fun. There was more people. But also in the basic line of this eventually comes in is the story, right? Because even when they patent a specific compound within that plant that cures a headache, let's say, and then enough time goes by, it's not in our education system of, hey, this plant cures this thing, this plant cures that ailment. You start to have a monopoly on information as well. That's what education is, right? Education is a story, a decided upon story that we instruct to our youngins to perpetuate a specific idea, right? You're programming the mind to think in a specific way and understand and accept authority, fear authority, and these types of things, right? It's the programmation of minds. It's because these stories are what influence the holographic representation. I'm getting to a main thing here, right? Stay on point, stay on focus here, Kyle. So the main thing is, like, all these stories influence reality. They influence the translation of light into form. But the biggest story we tell ourselves is our own personal identity, right? I am me. This is what I do. I do this for a living, right? Even, I am Kyle. I am not Kyle. Kyle is the vibration that somebody assigns to this vessel, this organic vessel, that the real me, the energy behind that powers the vessel. That's the me. But I am Kyle, right? Even in our language is another important factor for the programmation of minds. I gotta see it, because I didn't want to go on here. I was kind of just testing a live, because I have to go do a talk later on. And I just did another video, so it's like I need to save my voice a little bit. All right, bye. Wait, is there somebody on here now?